So in the past couple weeks here, we've played through all of the numbered games and all of the A's. So we spent a lot of time playing some pretty bad games. Some of them were okay and decent, but for the most part, most of these were pretty disappointing. All of the games we covered includes 10 Yard Fight, 1942, 1943, 3D World Runner, 720, 8 Eyes, Abadox, The Addams Family, the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons series, which was Dragon Strike, Heroes of the Lance, Hills Far, and Pool of Radiance, Adventure Island 1, 2, and 3, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, The Adventures of Bayou Billy, where we got to see the Zapper for the first time, Adventures of Dino Ricky, The Adventures of Gilligan's Island, Adventures of Lolo 1, 2, and 3, The Adventures of Rad Gravity, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Air Fortress, Air Wolf, Al Unser Jr.'s Turbo Racing, Alfred Chicken, Alien 3, All Pro Basketball, Alpha Mission, Amagon, American Gladiators, Anticipation, Arch Rivals, Archon, Arkanoid, Arkista's Ring, Astyanax, Athena, Athletic World, where we got to showcase the Power Pad, and Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I think the best game we probably looked at in the A's was the Adventures of Lolo series. All pretty good puzzle games, all pretty fun, I like that. The Adventure Island series was pretty good too, a good solid trilogy of games, both for Lolo and Adventure Island. But aside from the Adventure Island series and the Adventures of Lolo series, I think Air Fortress was probably my other favorite game in the A's. As for the numbered games, I really remember 8 Eyes a lot from my childhood, but playing them all now, I think 1943 is probably the best one of all the numbered games. And when I say the numbered games, I mean the only 6 games that are numbered games. Now, a couple things I want to point out, a few things I want to address about this. One thing was I didn't do the Adventures of Link, which obviously falls into the A's with the Adventures of Link. I skipped that one because I'm going to do it side by side with The Legend of Zelda. Those two just feel like they deserve to be reviewed together, so I'm going to save it for then. Another game I didn't review is All-Star Softball, and that's because it's actually called Dusty Diamond's All-Star Softball. You can see on the cover it says All-Star Softball in big letters, but if you look close it says Dusty Diamond's All-Star Softball. So I'm going to wait till the D's to play that one. For the most part, I'm getting pretty good feedback going through these games at the pace I'm doing them at, the style I'm doing them in. A couple of things I wanted to address that I've heard about is, one, the length of the videos. Now, most of the videos are between 1 and 2 minutes long, and I think that's fair for what we're trying to do here, because I'm just trying to get in, say what I think about the game, kind of showcase some of the parts of it, and move on to the next one. Some of the games have gotten a little more in-depth reviews. Games that have a little more going on, or games I think are a little more interesting to showcase to people. And you have to remember, I'm going through all 677 North American Nintendo games, so it's going to take a long time, even at 1 minute to 2 minutes long. But I just don't get the impression that people want to watch me play Adventures at Gilligan's Island for more than maybe 2 minutes. When I start getting into bigger games, I'm going to play them a lot more in depth. Some games I'm even going to do a complete playthrough of. Games like the Castlevania series and the Mega Man series, those kinds of games aren't going to get a little 1 to 2 minute review. They're going to be played completely through, and we'll do an extensive review on games like that. But for the time being, these smaller games that people didn't really get into a whole lot, I'm kind of trying to save time for both the viewers and myself to make the reviews a little shorter so we can get through them a little faster, but at the same time being fair about my judgment on them. Another thing about the length of these videos is obviously we don't get to see the endings of any of these games, and we don't get to get too far into the gameplay. But for what it's worth, we do showcase the gameplay footage, we do give some feedback on it, we give a basic idea of how the game operates and runs, and for a nostalgic value, I think it works out pretty well. Another thing I wanted to address that was pointed out to me is whenever I say the year in the beginning of the video, it doesn't always match up to the year shown on the copyright date in the game. Now, that's because the year I say in the videos is actually the release year in North America, whereas the copyright date on the game was the copyright date the game was developed. So, the year I say might be a year or two after the actual copyright date on the title screen. That's just because that's the year the game was released in North America. So thanks for sticking with us so far. I think we're doing really well, made good progress. I got some good games coming up here in the B's, a lot of good ones I'm looking forward to doing, so stay tuned, we're going to get to those. And coming up here soon, I plan on doing a couple special edition episodes on things that aren't just specifically games, but kind of addressing some wider points in the Nintendo era. Also coming up in 2 months is E3, so I'll be coming back with a lot of footage from that and giving my feedback on how the industry is doing and some of the games I see, so that'll be a lot of fun too. So again, thanks for sticking with us so far through everything we've done, and we've got a long way to go.